Hi Pisces, welcome to your April 2015 reading. I'm using the Rider-Waite Tarot and the Celtic Cross spread. As I was shuffling your cards, I heard the words vocation and blessings, and also was seeing this card, so I pulled it out for you and to put aside. Before I get into the reading, I just wanted to explain to you how the vocation and blessings is showing up, so that you know what I mean when I say it throughout your reading. You know, vocation is thought of as the blessings that we contribute to others via something that we contribute, right? And so it's like when you're doing that, it's considered your vocation, and it could be in career. Usually most people think or see it as being in your career, but it doesn't always have to be in career. It can be as a parent and so on. It's just you're contributing something that is a blessing to others, and also you feel blessed, and that's usually how we see vocation, and that is coming up as, you know, that is one of the ways that vocation is coming up. Now the other way vocation is coming up is that sometimes it's just the blessings, like vocation. You know, what is it? It's blessings. It's where you feel blessed and where you are giving blessings to others, such as contributions, and also when you are receiving blessings, that is vocation. So sometimes you can be in a career and you feel like you are doing your vocation, like you're doing what you're born to do, so to speak. And other times you could be in a career and you may feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, perhaps, although you may be learning things and learning about your strengths and capabilities. So those are blessings that help you get to your vocation, such as the contributions that you share that are blessings to others. But also you may be in a career where, you know, it isn't so-called vocation, but there are blessings with that career, such as meeting people that become lifelong friends, and that is a blessing, and you contribute to them as blessings, and what they contribute to you is blessings, and so that is also how vocation is showing up. And also sometimes our vocations, again, it is those blessings, giving and receiving, may require us to have strengths or to have some lessons, like in order to receive blessings or even to contribute and share, in other words, giving blessings to others, it may require us to step into our best selves, be really, you know, have our self-esteem, maybe feel vulnerable at times as well. So that kind of goes with this card that I kept seeing. This is the Chariot card. Now, I have to say, I haven't seen this card look so divine and mystical as it is showing up for you Pisces. You know, I'm just noticing every image on here that looks mystical and divine. So some, you know, again, vocation, blessings, there's this sense of the divine then and the mystical. And, you know, sometimes these blessings, it requires us to put our heart on our sleeves, or to have self-esteem, to be more intuitive and to have that connection to the divine. It may require us to, or help us learn the lessons of gaining clarity, so that we can hold the reins, so to speak. And, you know, I'm noticing the angel wings, and that how sometimes we have longings or have prayed for something that we want to come into our life, in other words, vocation, in other words, blessings, and it's like, because I keep seeing this as mystical and divine, it's like the angels deliver on that, and perhaps it requires for you to be able to receive it, and so there are some lessons to do with self-esteem perhaps, or being vulnerable in some way, or learning to have clarity, or discovering more about intuition and the divine. I'm also noticing these sphinx down here, and in particular this one here with the breasts. So I feel that even for some, the blessing may come in a sexual way, perhaps a relationship with somebody, or learning about your own sexuality, or coming to terms with it as well, or something like that as well. So lots of messages, mystically and divinely, to do with vocation, or in other words, blessings. And of course, there is the sense of it actually having to do with career too. So perhaps you are in your vocation, and for others, you are in a career that is kind of like a vocation because it is bringing you some blessings, perhaps people and or challenges where you get to learn more about your sparkly self. Now, the card itself, it's the Chariot card. It's usually about a person who has who may feel like there are opposing forces, and so perhaps this blessing or this vocation that has been delivered to you, there may be some opposing forces with it. It could be the opposing forces of having to deal with your self-esteem, having to deal with vulnerability. It could be the opposing forces of other people. There could be so many different things. So the Chariot talks about a person trying to control it, trying to rein it in, trying to balance it, the opposing forces. And also it can be a card about a person not sure which way to go, what to do. Okay, let's get on to your reading. So in the present we have the Four of Pentacles, and I feel that in the present various Pisces are dealing with outcomes linked to some kind of frivolousness in the past. Perhaps for some of you Pisces it was maybe overspending, buying something big, or it could have been perhaps you made some choices in career or with finances that now in the present may have seemed frivolous. Now and it's like you're dealing with the outcomes of it or the aftermath of it. Now for other Pisces, it could have been like in the past you were very protective of everything around you, and for lack of a better word, like being tight-fisted in regards to choices to do with your career and finances. And now you're dealing with the outcomes or the aftermath of that. Perhaps for some of you it means that now you can spend more. Perhaps it means that you go on a spending spree, and perhaps it means that you now make choices that you didn't make in the past because you were being very protective or protecting what you have. So that's what it feels like for the present. Now the challenge card is the Two of Pentacles. In this card I am noticing the ship in the background, and I am hearing ships coming in, ships going out, and for some of you Pisces, ships coming back. And there's this sense of the person, the challenge could be to balance or harness strength in regards to ships that have come in and have gone out perhaps, and for some of you I'm hearing again coming back. But also there's a sense also that there may have been a complicated situation, because I'm noticing the hat. I'm being really drawn to the hat, and I don't really want to look at the hat, but I keep getting drawn to it, and it just irritates me intuitively. And I'm hearing a tall order. So there could have also been a juggling of your strength in regards to something, a circumstance that felt to you like a tall order, something complicated. So the challenge seems to be about having awareness that ships come in, ships go out, and some ships may be coming back in, and that there was a tall order sort of a situation, and that the challenge is about harnessing and balancing your strength. Also, I'm noticing how the person is holding these pentacles, and that lets me know that this person can move these pentacles. So it's also a message that you can make choices, which is your abundance vibration, by the way, too, Pisces, that you can make positive choices. And not only that this person can create, because he can move these pentacles, so he can create. So that's the challenge of April. So going to move to the subconscious card. Now in the subconscious card it is the Seven of Wands, and so I'm hearing the term or the phrase on top of it. Now this is the subconscious card, and because it's a general reading, I'm not hearing get on top of it or being on top of it or keeping on top of it. I'm only hearing on top of it. So Pisces, take that as it resonates for you. Perhaps for some of you, subconsciously, it means that you feel like you're on top of it, or you're getting on top of it, or on top of something. For others, it may be the opposite, and that subconsciously you feel that you may need to get on top of it. And for some of you, it feels to do with relationships, like getting on top of a relationship. So if we go back to the Sphinx, it may be to do with a relationship with someone as well. Now this is the subconscious. So in the past we have the Moon card. Now it feels like, you know, there were some worries perhaps in regards to this tall order, this complicated thing, and that it required you to juggle your strength, and that it may have felt like two ships were coming in, or opportunities and blessings were coming in but going out, and there may have been some worries in regards to this. But also there feels like that there was perhaps a sense of you thinking that things would be okay, or that things would be okay. So that's in the past. In the advice card, we have the Ace of Wands reversed, and I'm hearing initiation. So, you know, the advice is about an initiation to you, Pisces, of going within your heart, going within to your thoughts and feelings, and, you know, going within to take a look at the contents within you, so that you can rehear the requests of your soul. So if I go back to the Chariot card and the angel wings there, it's as if you have longed or prayed for something and it has been delivered, but perhaps it took some vulnerability on your part to be able to receive it. And if there was some difficulty in doing that, then it's as if the advice of this card is to be able to enact on receiving or going towards a vocation, either career vocation or vocation as in the blessings. And in order to be able to enact it, because this card wants to be turned this way, and this way it is the hand of God offering you a blessing, a vocation, and for you to take it and act upon it. But in the reversed, it's the same meaning, except before you can do the enacting, there seems to be some clarity is required, you know, because there are opposing forces. Perhaps it's the blessing, but then there's a link to vulnerability, so there's opposing forces. And so the advice of this card is to go within, take a look at the contents within you, so you can rehear the request of your soul, which is the blessing that's been delivered, and I guess gain clarity. Now the next card is this card, and that is the what is this card? This is the it is the external. So the outside influences, the environment, people, energy that has an influence on you, and perhaps on your vocation or blessings, or how you can contribute your blessings. You know, for some of you, there may be some heartache in regards to a tall order, something that was complicated, you know, including the ships coming in, ships going out. For others, there seems to be links to children. So there may have been some difficulty with perhaps your vocation and or children or younger people in the family, so to speak, had an impact on, was influencing you as well. So that it seems the heart, or perhaps heartache or heart loss, had an influence on you, and for some as well, children or younger people. And this person is trying to stay steady and grounded, and yet seeking clarity, seeking assistance, because of it feels like opposing forces. Now, this card is what is this card? This is the Hopes and Fears card. So with the Hopes and Fears card, we've got the Justice. And, I don't know if I said this card. This is the Four of Swords. And also, I'm just being reminded too that this card has showed up for a lot of the star signs, but in various placements. So here we have the Hopes and Fears card, and it is the Justice. And you know, when I look at this card, and if I notice the background cloth and how there's like it sags at the top, right? So it lets some light in. Now, if I was to go like this, and so that there was, you know, there is no sagging at the top, it's as if this person has no hopes and fears, because there is no need for hopes and fears, because everything is normal, everything is as it should be, everything is how it's always been, and all that sort of stuff. And then it's like something happens, like vocation, and a breath of fresh air comes in, a bit of sunlight comes in, and now it changes things, and it may create a sense of opposing forces. It's as if the normalcy has been changed, not shaken, but has changed, and now this person may be required to move towards this breath of fresh air, a bit of breath of fresh air, a bit of the sunlight coming through, and yet the person may have some difficulty with it, because it's things have now changed, and now the person may not know what to do. Perhaps, you know, because there's a sense of needing to move forward, to act upon it. It may require self-esteem, it may require putting their heart upon their sleeve, or dealing with some sexual relationship or something like that. Being able to receive it, that breath of fresh air. And it's like the person wants, the hope is that the person gets this breath of fresh air and sunshine and receives it, but it also seems that there is fear in regards to it, because it may be bringing up some vulnerabilities of receiving it. I'm going to go to the future card, and the future card is the Six of Swords. Let me go back to here. You know, so for some of you, again, it can be this vocation, which is the breath of fresh air, and vocation is a blessing. It could be perhaps you work out how it is you contribute. Perhaps you work out what career you'd like to be in, or perhaps it's someone that steps into your life, or perhaps it's a goal that a challenge, like a creative challenge that you're offered. It could be anything like that. But it's vocation, it's a blessing. It allows you to express more of who you are. It brings blessings to you, and you bring blessings to it. And lessons at the same time, because the lessons are being able to receive it. And that may mean, so not only do you get the gift of what it is that you want, perhaps you want finances or a career in a particular place, and so that gets delivered to you, but it now requires you to believe in yourself to take up that career, so to speak. And so the blessing is you've been given the gift, and you've also been given another gift where you learn more and become even more confident. So this card here is the Six of Swords, and it's in the future position. And so we have a person here that is continuing on. Sometimes I would describe this card as a person moving from stormy waters towards calmer waters. But for this reading, Pisces, I want to say it is a person that is continuing on and moving from the currents of life, perhaps the blessing, perhaps the vocation. So perhaps, it might not have been completely acted upon, the blessing, and the person may be now continuing on, moving from it for some reason, and it may feel like a struggle. But I also want to say that I am being shown that the person moves into not calm waters, but extremely still waters. The kind of still waters where it is so quiet that you are in a position to make the decision to face some things. So perhaps the worries in regards to a tall order, and perhaps not being able to, for some Pisces, not being able to quite move forward on it or act upon it. Now you're continuing on, moving on from it, and it may feel like a struggle. And it's like the worries you can brush aside in regards to this tall order because you're always busy. But when you get to the still waters, it's like something might change and now you're not busy, and so the worries come up really loud and you can't brush it aside because you can't even find anything to keep yourself busy. And therefore you're at a point where you can face it, or face your worries, face how you're feeling, all that sort of stuff. And I guess that is great because it is the advice card for you to do that. So if you, for some of you Pisces, get to that point where you feel that you have gotten to the still waters, the advice is saying that that is the initiation. That is the initiation that will help you to then act upon your soul's request. So go within, take a look at the contents within, listen to your feelings, hear your thoughts, so that you can then hear, and I'm hearing, rehear the request of your soul. So it's like whatever gifts, blessings have been, vocation has been delivered to you, it's what you've asked for, and perhaps you just didn't expect it to come in the way that it showed up, and therefore it felt like opposing forces around you, or you just didn't expect it to show up at all as well. Those are just some examples. In the outcome cards we have two outcomes, and I feel that they are just one outcome and just confirming one another. So we have the Knight of Wands and the Hierophant reversed. Now I'm just going to bring it down so it's closer to the camera. Now when I look at the Knight of Wands, this Knight of Wands is self-assured, full of self-esteem and confidence, and most definitely heading in a direction. It's like the Knight of Wands had that still waters moment, went within, faced the contents within, reheard the soul's request, or had an epiphany, perhaps gained clarity, understood the blessings that had showed up and what the opposing forces were, so perhaps got clarity on that, and that perhaps the opposing force was, well, it was about putting their heart on their sleeve or something like that. And yet the blessing was also understanding that, the lessons too. And so this card got turned this way, where it's the action of acting upon the blessing. And so it feels this Knight of Wands is doing that. It has direction and is so self-assured, because it's like the Knight of Wands has had an epiphany. And I feel the Hanged Man is just confirming that. If it was this way, it would be like, the guidance would be that the Hangman sees the various perspectives, or takes a look at different perspectives. Here, the Hanged Man has a perspective, or a direction. So it's like the opposing forces, by going within, rehearing the soul's request, the opposing forces have been reined in or contained. And now this knight is feeling very, very self-assured and has direction. And I'm also picking up that it's not about results. So, it's like this knight has direction, understands what the blessing is or are, and I'm also hearing is going back or coming back. And also that the knight isn't worried about results. It's just knows the direction, and is like leaving the results to the future. Or, it's like that. It's like sometimes you don't need to know the results. You just need to take that action. And that's what it feels like it's happening here. So it feels really, really great. I like that the Knight of Wands absolutely is self-assured and has direction. No more, what am I going to do? Which way should I go? It's very clear. It's like an epiphany. Now the very last card, usually I don't leave this for the last, but it's come up as the last card. This is the aims card. It's the aim of the month. It is the Queen of Wands. And I want to put this Queen of Wands beside the Justice card. And it's like the aim of the month is to face the fears, to, in other words, face one's demons, so to speak. So that, in other words, it's kind of like this card, the initiation of taking a look at the contents within. So here, the person may have had difficulty moving forward, or receiving the blessings, or reining in the opposing forces, or containing them, or figuring out how to use both of them, the opposing forces. And so this Queen, the aim, face the fears, face one's fears and hopes as well. So throughout the month, if that time comes where you may feel you're at that still waters, the advice is to go within, so that you can rehear the soul's request and then act upon it, like this Knight of Wands. And this Queen of Wands is also confirming it as well. The aim is to face the fears. Face your feelings of how you maybe felt or worried about a tall order, or ships coming in and ships going out. Perhaps of any frivolousness from the past as well. Face them. It's not about judging yourself harshly. It's just about acknowledging them if you've been trying to deny them or push them aside, so that you can do this and then get to this outcome, which is very, very nice. It feels like the outcome is that you won't be having any opposing forces, because you know exactly what your blessings are, and you have absolute clarity and self-assurance and self-esteem. So thank you, Pisces, for watching. I hope this reading has been helpful to you, and I look forward to reading for you next month. If you found this reading helpful, please like, share, and leave a comment if you like. Thank you, and see you next month. Bye bye.